Hello, it's Pete McKinney and this is my latest Kidderminster Harriers summer video blog. I hope everybody's enjoying the break away from the beautiful game, and I will return fully refreshed for when the action comes back in July with the friendlies. This week we'll be talking about Tim Flowers returning, the budget, Jake Green, and of course Jack Byrne's departure. And first of all, let's talk about the budget, which when Chairman Rob Brown confirmed this week that the budget would be half of last season. Now, this isn't going to come as a huge surprise for any fan who's been following the financial ups and downs, mainly downs, of the club over the last 12 months. Obviously, Harriers had a huge wage bill which they struggled to pay last season without the help of the benefactors, Catherine and Elaine. Now, they don't have the support of those people as such this season, and they're trying to pay their own way, so to speak, so they can only spend the money that they bring in. So obviously the budget is going to be a lot smaller, perhaps around the region of £250,000, depending on season ticket sales, obviously. But the club will certainly be saying to the fans, and I think it's right, that size isn't everything. Manager Gary Wall will be scouring the lower down the levels of non-league to bring in players he feels can make the step up, giving time to the football conference, and also bring in regenerated enthusiasm back to the club. Certainly in the last few months of last season, where the disruption behind the scenes was really, the atmosphere around the club was not the best, and so the manager is hoping that an enthusiastic, tight-knit squad, certainly early on, will help win over fans with their efforts, and of course bring some positivity back by getting a few results along the way. So the chairman has said that the aim next season is the club is able to pay its bills and not be relegated, and but certainly as a starting point, I think that's the only way they can start. Of course, Gary Wild has already said that he wants to bring 3 or 4 experienced players to try and help the youngsters acclimatise, and he's already pursuing them, hoping to persuade them to join by the fact that they've got a club with a great history and a good setup. And another added incentive might be the return of former England keeper and Premier League winner Tim Flowers, who returned to the coaching setup to work with Gary Wald and his assistant Mark Crichton. Now, this is certainly very good news for the club, I think. By all accounts, Flowers is not being paid a huge amount at all to work with the clubs, and he's a vastly experienced coach, having worked with Stuart Pearce only recently at Nottingham Forest. He's also you must imagine the impact for the younger players of having someone who has won the Premier League, who has played for England, coaching them every day, and that must certainly, you'd imagine, fire the imaginations of those youngsters, or even the most experienced players that Harry's hoping to bring in. So fingers crossed. It certainly seems like a very positive move at this stage of the summer. Obviously, the Harriers have secured the services of the very versatile Jake Green for another season. The youngster joined last summer from Bristol City and has played in a host of positions last year. Right back, right wing, and even behind the forwards at one stage. I thought at one point Gary Wild was going to put him in goal. Only joking. But he certainly proved to be an enthusiastic and dedicated player, which the management team like quite a lot, and are hoping that his improvement will continue, and I hope so too as well, because he certainly did show signs that there was definitely a player there. Obviously, Jack Byrne decided to turn down a new deal and join Solihull, where former Harriers teammates Danny Lewis and Callum Gittings are. And Wild admitted he was disappointed with the departure of Jack, who were still in his mid to late 20s, still had a lot of football left in those legs, to be honest. But he was also the final member of the squad that finished second 3 years ago. So it does feel like the closing of a chapter there. We wish Jack the best of luck, and thanks for all the memories. I think the enticement of being paid a decent wage and the ability to work while he's playing part-time was probably too much for Jack there, and we wish him the best of luck. Anyway, I'm sure there'll be some more exciting events down at Agborough over the next few weeks, and I shall check back in to talk about the latest events.